the 4-3-3 second variation. A completely swept under the rug formation, but when formatted correctly, can be extremely meta in this game post-patch. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys the best 4-3-3 second variation custom tactics, and I'll be showing you some gameplay as well, and giving you some examples of how you can get the most out of this awesome formation. Let's get into it. If you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, but you do enjoy the videos, please do hit the subscribe button and turn your bell on. It really does go a long way. Kicking things off with the defensive style, we're going to run this on balanced. Defensive width is 34, so very compact with this one, and then the depth is 61, just because with any kind of 4-3-3, it always reminds me of like the classic Barcelona teams. I want to be able to have that press. Now, I know press after possession often might be considered logical to go with, but on this game it just doesn't work as well as balanced. I'd recommend going balanced and then manually pressing as best as you can. There is a tutorial in the description to manually press if you guys aren't certain about what I mean by that. Build up play, we're running with balance, chance creation, direct passing. My aim with this formation is to essentially format it better than a 4-3-2-1. I'm not convinced it is the only thing that can work in this game. I truly think formations, and particularly the 5 different variants of the 4-3-3, I'm certain they can be formatted to be just as good, if not better. However, for it to compete, we do have to run with balanced direct passing, purely because 4-3-3 is kind of a very numbers dominant formation. You have a lot of people up, and what you can do with direct passing is you pin the opponent back, and then you basically create those overloads once you pin the opponent back. And also, because you've got a midfield 3, there's a lot of options around the edge of the box as well. So by pinning them back, you get the space for things such as finesse shots too. Offensive width, we're running with 42. Like we say, 4-3-2-1 is very meta, but it's more narrow in its nature. This kind of just leans it a little bit more in that direction, but there is a couple of really cool things we're going to do with the instructions to really kind of utilize a more sort of narrow approach to the way the wingers run. But 42 width is an absolute sweet spot for this formation. Players in the box, we are running with 6. Literally, the only reason it's on 6 is I tried lower, I tried higher. 6 is what I've had the most success with. And obviously, corners, free kicks, just go with whatever your personal preference is. Getting into the player instructions now, as a heads up, there's a lot going on here. It's not like a symmetrical set of tactics. We are formatting this to defend in a 4-4-2 but attack in a 4-3-3-2. So there's a lot of instructions that we need to sort of apply to get both that robust, better defensive shape of a 4-4-2 but still be able to attack in a 4-3-3. So our left winger is going to be on comeback on defense, cut inside. Our striker is going to be on getting behind, stay forward. And then our right winger is going to be on stay forward, cut inside. So you'll notice both wingers have cut inside on them, and this is the last instruction I actually added. Initially I was running that balanced and just with the stay forward and come back instructions. However, I found my wingers were extremely in line with the opponent's wing backs. So they're kind of like running into the wing back, and then the centre backs are both occupying the one striker. So in other words, we were being outnumbered by the defence. However, once I applied the cut inside and those wingers start tucking in and they run in between the wing back and centre back, all of a sudden the opponent has to make decisions then, because you've got a striker occupying 2 centre backs, you've got a winger occupying a centre back and a wing back, and then the same on the other side. So all of a sudden it's a lot more to think about, and the cut inside instruction obviously makes those runs diagonal, so it's a lot easier to play through balls when someone's running diagonally opposed to just in a straight line, which is very easy to track. Comeback on defence is only on one side because of that 4-4-2 defensive shape we're after, and to add to that, to get that defensive shape, we're running the left centre mid on cover centre and nothing else. Our central defensive midfielder on stay back while attacking, cover centre, and then our right centre mid is on balance but on stay on the edge of box for cross. So in a 4-4-2 defensive shape, you're going to have Eusebio and Jarzinho, in my case, pushed up as like a striking pair. Zika will drop back as a left mid. Zidane and Rolfo will sit in the middle like 2 centre mids, and then Dybala will sort of tuck out a little bit more to the right hand side like a right mid, only on the defence. On the attack, you'll only see it in that 4-4-2 shape for like the first few seconds, but they quickly regroup and then maintain this 4-3-3 shape, which is obviously what we want on the attack. So Zidane on cover centre balanced is because we want him to obviously defend as a centre mid, but it allows him to venture forward still when we are on the attack. And then our right centre mid, the stay on the edge of the box for cross was originally get into the box for cross, and that works really well. I have no problems with that. However, when you're playing people that have got a lot of people behind the ball and like 10 men in their own box, it can be very difficult to score with any formation. And what this allows you to do is have somebody with a finesse shot capability that is always there as an option. You can always drop it back to them. They're always on the edge of the box. And it's just sort of your ace in your back pocket when you can't get in. You are able to hit a finesse shot. So absolutely you need someone with finesse plus in this position. Either someone with a 5-star weak foot or someone that is left-footed with that finesse plus. However, if you only have a right footer that doesn't have a 5-star weak foot, what you can do is reverse the instructions of the wing back, 2 centre mids and wingers. So just basically reverse it, and then you can then play with a right footer on the left hand side where Zidane is. Central defensive midfielder is just stay back while attacking cover centre. They are the anchor in midfield. I 100% recommend that you have someone that you trust with your life here, someone that has got fantastic defensive AI, but on top of that, if they can have something like pinged pass, long pass plus, those things go a long way, especially the pinged pass, the ability to do driven passes so they can get them out of their feet quick and precise to other players. That's what Rolfer has in this formation, and it really, really serves the formation well. I really feel like Rolfer is the heartbeat of this team, and I think to make this formation truly work to its full capability, you need someone that is outstanding, really, in this position to get the most out of it. As far as our wing-backs go, the left-back is balanced overlap, the right-back is stay back while attacking. Again, kind of leaning into that 4-3-2-1 ethos. We want that overload on one side, just because it creates such an overload in the attack to the point where it's like 5-on-4 with someone's defense, and you've always got a spare man. So if you're not even that good at skill moves, or you're not big on skill moves, or you like playing that authentic style of build-up, very much true to real football, then this is going to allow you to do that, because you're always going to have a spare man. So there's always somebody to pass to, so you haven't got to rush. You can play very direct with this because of the getting behind, excuse me, the stay forward, the cut inside with the diagonal runs. There's so many options to absolutely bomb at the opponent, but if that isn't your style, this still serves that, because you've got that overload that allows you to always have the spare man. So there's always a pass on. You haven't got to rush. You can take your time. You can play it around the edges. You can work for that stay on the edge of the box for cross, to work for nest shots if that's what you want to go for. You've just got tons of options, lots of dynamic in the attack. What I would recommend is the person that you do have overlapping as the wing back, ensure they have whipped pass plus, because again, in a game where it's difficult to get in, to have the ability of that person doing the overlap to literally just be able to do a German cross, which is basically where you do a full powered cross quite early into the box to the back stick, then that's obviously just, again, a very good ace in your back pocket. They're generally going to be the person in your team crossing it if you ever cross it. So Whip Pass Plus just literally makes your final product so much better. And you're going to get a lot more goals off of crosses when you do cross it. As far as your right back goes, I'd go for a more defensively orientated one, a Kyle Walker, a Cafu, players of that nature. Then your centre backs, anticipate plus if you can get it. If not, just go for the highest caliber centre backs that you can. Your Van Dijks, your Lucios, your Maldinis, they're all going to work a treat. But if you're on a budget, the new Orban card is coin for coin centre back on this game. The 91 Fantasy Orban is as good as anyone I've used, and he's literally 40k or something silly. So pick him up if you haven't already. Bastoni's this was the Showdown that then got the upgrade, which I've evoed. He's really solid as well. Feels a little bit heavier than Orban. I really do think Orban coin for coin is a phenomenal option if you are on a budget. But they're all just on their default instructions. Goalkeeper, again, is just on the default. And with the goalkeeper, just go with whoever you trust. Just going to show you guys some of the goals that I've scored with this formation today. I played a few Champs games earlier, so I'll just run you through those goals. But while these are going, you'll notice that there is a grand ability to play super direct with this. The way the players run at weird angles in particular, I find has more about it than the 4-3-2. And the thing with the 4-3-2-1 is, yes, you've got three people very centrally, kind of 3-on-2 in the centre-backs. But I do find it a little bit stale. I don't know. I've never got on with 4-3-2-1 like a lot of people do. And obviously that's a personal preference thing. But I love the fact with this, it's very similar style. Because the wingers are coming from a wider position then tucking in. They come at the opponent from such weird angles. And it's so much easier, I find, to pick them out. Like, I scored a few goals where I'd drive it into my striker. And the run my winger had made for me to just lay off to them almost like was completely unpicked up. Because the defence just can't track such odd angled runs. They're kind of just expecting you to drive in a straight line, because that's how most formations are formatted to play. So the cut inside instruction for me has been a huge asset. As far as the defensive side of things goes, obviously a 4-4-2 shape is pretty solid, but obviously your left back is committing. So I do recommend making sure you're controlling your midfielders for as much as you can on the defense to cut up that play. Don't just leave all the onus on the back three and the back four once your left back is back. Really make sure that your CDM is the one you're controlling to cut up the play. If that secondary centre mid, your box-to-box one in the left centre mid spot is free once they sort of cover the centre as well. Make sure you're switching to them and cutting up the play with them as well. You want to try and get your midfield doing as much of the defending as possible before you have to switch into your centre-backs with this. Very much, again, like the 4-3-2-1, you can't put all the defensive emphasis on the centre-backs and the wing-backs. They can't do it all because a lot of people are also using 4-3-2-1s, and if they're 5-on-3ing or 5-on-4ing your defence, you're in trouble. So you've got to utilise that man or woman in the hole in that CDM position that matches their 5. And then again, if you can get the box-to-box involved as well, all of a sudden you've got 6 back and you're a lot more robust. In regards to the stay forward getting behind on the striker, it's something new that I've been messing around with. There's a YouTuber called Narweezy that recently has been doing tactics videos. He's been picking up a lot of sort of steam and momentum on YouTube. He's doing really well, and I sort of tried some of the things he was doing, see what works, what doesn't work. And I really, really enjoyed the stay forward, getting behind on the striker, always having someone there to play the direct route 1 ball if it's on. It's a really, really nice thing to add to your tactics. So it's something I'm definitely going to be looking at more now, going with a stay forward, getting behind player. Purely, even if it's a 4-4-2, just make sure one striker's on it, because you've then always got someone that is threatening that back line. People do get punished then for playing a high line, pulling players out of position. If you guys did enjoy the video, I'll link my custom tactics playlist in the description below for you guys to check out, along with the manual pressing tutorial that I mentioned earlier. But as always, guys, if you did make it this far in the video, I really appreciate your time. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn your bell on. Take care, guys.